Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing a debate. It's Disney version this time. It's called Disney Shouldn't Make Films That Have a Theme of Love at First Sight. So Ellie and I are saying that they shouldn't, and Emily and Grace are saying that they should. So let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and let the debate commence.
So start off, we'll just go with the most basic point that there is that it's not realistic. If you were to fall in love with someone at first sight, it's not going to be based on their personality or who they are, what they do. It's simply based on their looks. So it's a superficial love that's completely entirely based on looks, and it's just not realistic. You're putting kids into the idea that the first person that they see as attractive is the person that they've completely fallen in love with and are going to have to be in a relationship with if it gets that far. It's not realistic.
I definitely agree. It's literally the same point as Ellie. That's what I was thinking as well. But like, when it comes to like when you say love at first sight, I think love is like what you develop. In like Disney movies, you see like they literally see their looks and they're like, "Wow, she's pretty," or "He's handsome," or, and then they're like, "Oh, that's my wife or that's my husband," straight away. But that it's just not developed. It's just straight away like Snow White, like she's literally a corpse in the woods. And then okay, well, you know what I mean, right? And then like the princess comes, and then straight away they just get married, or Sleeping Beauty, or what other Disney films are there? Cinderella, let's say. It's just straight away like it's not like a development. It's just based off the looks, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have to disagree a little bit because I just think like from the Disney films we watch, I think the love and first sight thing kind of tells the audience about like the interest from the character, like what they probably like about a person. So if we say like from Ariel in The Little Mermaid, when she first saw Eric, yes, she said like he's handsome, but when she first saw him, like he was playing with his dog, he was caring, he was like playful. I think Love at First Sight isn't all about looks. I think it's just about like the person, like the character, and also for like Flynn Rider when he first saw Rapunzel, like when she stepped out from the shadows, she like he probably was kind of entranced with her, like just saw like this very like mysterious woman, but she's kind of like courageous, she's strong and confident because she's fighting against with a frying pan, so that's quite strange. But he kind of like he kind of falls for it. So I don't think it's all about the looks. I think it's all about like uh again about the person, the character.
Just to back that up, I mean, if we're thinking about it in realistic terms, I think a lot of people have that. It's the first thing that they see is the physical side of it. So it's a physical attraction, and then it develops. So
Yeah,
it is sort of similar. But I agree, it can be an issue, and Tess gave some really good examples: Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Cinderella. But my point of view is that it doesn't have to be an issue. I think it depends on like how the characters act after seeing each other, and like that feeling of love at first sight, and whether it's impulsive or not. Because a lot of them, like Sleeping Beauty, for example, so Aurora and Philip, they see each other and felt something for each other and then decided, ooh, let's get together. But it was only bad because of how they acted afterwards, because they rushed into it. I think it's possible for two characters to have that feeling of love at first sight and not act too quickly. And I think that's where Disney should make the change. Is like there shouldn't be a rush for, oh my god, we should get married, like Tess put it before, like Snow White. Like they should need to take it slow, a bit more realistic. That's where I think we need that realism. And that love at first sight is basically an attraction, but it also might be what they're seeing. Like Grace said, the great example she gave with Ariel and Eric.
I mean, I do agree with both of your points, but like Emily said, there needs to be like sort of a pace, because I feel like with some movies it went just pretty fast, and that it's not realistic basically. So yeah, it needs to have like some sort of like realistic like scenarios where you get to know each other. Because what if the person you see at first and then you're like attracted, you're like, oh wow, that person's very good looking, but then they end up being like some sort of psycho, you know? Like you could just probably end up, yeah, it's just both ways. It's either good side or bad side to it. So,
Like Frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We need to see that development between the two characters.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
don't in majority or all of the Disney films where it's love at first sight, we don't see that development. So kids are going to go into thinking like into relationships thinking, oh, there's no like miscommunications, there's no clashes, there's no nothing. I'm going to go into a relationship and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be magical. It's going to be, this is the first guy I fall in love with, and it's going to be the guy that I marry, and that's it. It doesn't show you the complexity of real relationships and just friendships even. It doesn't show you that reality. And I understand like it's a kids film, it's meant to be magical and all this, but it does just kind of set them up for an unrealistic world, because the world around us isn't like that.
Yeah, but think about when you're introducing kids like to couples who, when they first see each other, they're instantly in love. I mean, sure, that's unrealistic, but I think the basic context of love at first sight is about giving children the view of like what love is meant to be, like in that way, like how you're meant to respect your partner, how they meant to treat you. It's all about loving each other. And it also explains like what how a relationship is meant to be feel so special. Like we get to see like you said, like that maybe Aurora and Philip, like sure they met each other at first sight, but you gotta admit there's something like connection between each other. So even though that's not realistic, kids will want that. They will want something like that. It's about like telling them this is something that could make you happy. This is something that you will find in your future, about like finding someone who will get you, someone who would treat you like good. It's and about like how that special relationship can be yours. So I think it gives children like a clear idea of like not trying not to fall in love with someone at first sight, because I agree with you guys, like that would be like kind of bad for kids to get that. But I think it just tells them like this is what is that's what true love is. I mean, how do we learn what true love is? We see it from the films. We see how two couples come together, even though it's quickly. It's we see like the magic between them, and we see that we want that.
But then there are also some movies that make it seem like everything's so perfect, like there's no arguments or there's no like obstacles that come in their way. There's always like that perfect, and people believe that sometimes
yeah, a relationship they can't get. Like no relationship is that perfect. It's not all like sunshine and daisies. There's always going to be like not arguments obviously, but you're always going to have like discussions you might not agree on, or there'll be obstacles in the way. And if kids are constantly growing up aspiring to have a perfect relationship like that, they might not feel happy with a relationship that is obviously good and they're treating them well and all this, but if it doesn't match up to the movies that they've seen and they think that's what love is, then they might never feel like they're ever truly properly loved, because it never matches what's on screen.
So do you think the issue is actually with the theme of love at first sight, or the actual thing that Disney keeps fast forwarding the relationship, like it just goes to the stage where they're getting married?
I think it's both. Like it goes through all of it. Like it's the theme of it and then also the rushing it. Because if someone's like, okay, say I'm gonna not say names, but say like a kid in their like, I don't know, they're 16, they've got their first boyfriend and they're like so in love with him and everything. They think, okay, like this is the first guy I've fallen in love with. this is who I have to marry because this is how everything's portrayed. It has to be perfect. I'm having arguments with him though, like, why isn't this right? Is this not what it's like meant to be like? And it's just going to constantly go around in their head like, oh, wait, what's going wrong? This isn't what I've been shown, so what am I not doing right?
And also
I
with
argue,
the
sorry,
no, go ahead.
you go for it, you go.
No, I was also gonna say like even like with the other movies, they always show the first person that you fall in love with. Like obviously people have like relationships that are short term or long term. It's not always gonna be the first person as well. Like it might take time for you to find your person. Yeah.
My issue with it is not the love at first sight, it's the portrayal afterwards, that rush to suddenly have that massive connection and get married and what else they do, like, you know, that is my issue. I don't think that love at first sight is an issue though, because I think it's quite nice. It's not completely realistic, but it sort of is, because I think everybody has that sort of connection. They sort of feel something at the beginning. And then it's only when you get to know that person and that relationship develops that, you know, it becomes into something real, into a relationship.
Don't get me wrong, I do love the idea of love at first sight. Like, it's such like a magical and amazing idea. Like, it's something that you'd want. And then obviously you get to know that person and all that. But Disney doesn't show that. It shows all the magical and lovely bits of it, but it just rushes straight through it to the marriage bit. And we can see where that goes wrong in the newer Disney films with Frozen and stuff like that. Almost as if it's like warning kids to be like, okay, look, we know we've shown you this, but just be cautious because it could lead to this. Just because you fell in love with them first doesn't mean that they're meant to be your soulmate and they're meant to be the person you have to stay with. If the relationship's not good, then it's not good. Don't force it, or don't force yourself to stay in a relationship just because it's something that you've seen in the movies and it's something you have to do.
Yeah. Basically, take it slow, take it easy, get to know the person. If you have still that feeling, then let your relationship progress naturally, and don't jump into something like getting married or something really extreme. Like,
Can't
there is
marry a
time
man
for
you
that.
just met, okay? Let's listen to our sir, let's bring it in.
Unless he's a
Exactly.
prince, so you never know, you might get one.
That's another debate.
Have a relationship first before getting into anything
Yeah.
deep. So personally, I don't think the love at first sight is an issue. I think it's the way that it's portrayed
Yeah.
that is an issue that needs to be worked on.
I also did a bit of research, and I found out from this neuro psychotherapist, Dr. Trish Stratford, and she explains like that when you feel like you're falling in love at first sight, there's actually a chemical reaction happening in your brain that's kind of release a warm fuzzy feeling. Then I thought of like some of the old like first love at first sight moments. So you know, like Aurora. Now she's been kind of isolated in the forest with the three fairies. Now she's never met a stranger or anyone. So when she saw Philip, maybe like because she's 16, isn't she? So at that time, we both like grow some like kind of hormone feelings, as you see like in Turning Red. Like when you grow up, you start developing like more romantic feelings. So I think in Aurora's case, she basically did quickly develop some feelings already, maybe like from his looks or maybe from like the way he kind of introduced himself. I think she was kind of taken back, and I think that's what happens with like all these the Disney princess as well, how they would portray like Snow White. When she first met the prince, she's been cleaning the palace, and then she met this nice like gentleman who suddenly appears with her. She's suddenly feeling something. Or Ariel, she met this human, it's first human she's ever seen, and she started feeling something. I mean, it's just introduced kids like when you're growing up, when you first see a guy, yes, you're probably going to be taken by the looks, but you're also going to feel something sparkling inside you. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, you're right. Best to take a relationship before you're going to go straight into marriage and all that stuff. But if you're starting to feel something quite rush, don't be afraid to hide it. We're all gonna be there. And I think that's what love at first sight is. And I think it's good to teach kids like about it. It's good to show kids like what couples will feel like, even though it looks rushed, it's natural. Like not falling in love, but actually being like just falling for someone straight away. Like we all seen like some other like non-Disney teenage shows, like Never Have I Ever, or like someone like the girl falls in love with like the cutest boy ever or something. But it's something like that. Like we're all gonna fall for someone straight away. Maybe we might hide it inside of us, and we're probably gonna let it slip for like a couple of days or weeks. But for Disney, I think it just tells kids like love is real, and it's a mixture of feelings, but it's natural and it's magical as well. So I think it's good for kids to know that love happens, and it can be a rush, but it happens and it's good.
I like that idea. I do like that idea. Another slight problem I have with the love at first sight kind of thing within Disney is that it's always portrayed, especially a lot in the like older films, not later films, they haven't been released yet. A lot in the older films, it's all girls who are fairly naive or are damsels in distress, and they're not seen as like the strong protagonist. Or like Ariel specifically, like she gives up everything for a guy she saw on a boat, which I feel like isn't the best kind of thing to show kids. Like if you see a cute guy, go change your legs for a fin and go swim with him in the ocean. You're not going to sacrifice your whole life. Like as much as I love The Little Mermaid, I'm not gonna lie, it's like one of my favorite films, but it's not showing a good example for kids now, because they're gonna think, okay, I have fallen in love with this man, I have to sacrifice everything to make sure he loves me back, kind of thing.
I think that links to the moral model debates that we did.
True.
Yeah, guys, if you're interested in see if Ariel is a bad role model or not, check out in our channel. We've done like a few others. Yeah, I agree. Like some of them were naive, but again, like I said, like some of them were kind of isolated. Some of them never met a person or a man basically in their life. So
unrealistic standards of love.
Yeah, but in those days,
you weren't kidnapped to go in a forest for 16 years of your life until you turned age of coronation.
Yeah, but Aurora met Villa for the first time. How was she supposed to feel? Like a guy close to her age.
Exactly, which would have been something where she would have fallen in love, but it's not realistic.
No, but she would have felt something for him. Like she would have felt maybe attracted, which is natural.
Oh, 100% she would have. She would have seen him and she would have been attracted to him, but it's the love at first sight. It's something that we wouldn't be able to.
Maybe she did feel something special, and that's not wrong.
Society. Because we wouldn't be in
to be honest, he's been technically her only human friend besides the animals and all that. So you've got to give her credit.
Exactly, and I do give her credit. I'm 100% giving her credit. If that's the only guy she's ever met in like her life, then of course she's going to be like, oh, I'm in love with him. But then that's not what kids are going to do in our society. They haven't had that experience. So if they're thinking, right, okay, that's the guy that she really likes, and she's fallen in love with him straight away, that's the guy I really like, I'm going to fall in love with him straight away. It's unrealistic.
Yeah, but then every single Disney movie is unrealistic. None of them are realistic.
That's true.
It's the problem with Disney then.
It doesn't make any sense. It's too magical, and kids are going to set that standard for their love lives. Something they can't get.
I don't think so. I think, of course, don't get me wrong, there are going to be some kids who really do think that. But I think the majority aren't really going to think, oh yeah, I just go into a forest, walk in, start singing to the birds and stuff, and oh my god, Prince Philip is going to come.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't think kids are gonna think
No.
that.
I think they just want to feel the love in these films. Just want to see the magic in it, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I agree. The older films, the original princess movies are a bit problematic, and we do talk about that in the role model debate. But I think there's something that Disney can work on, and like I said, they should work on like the fact that having that feeling of love at first sight doesn't mean you skip all these stages straight to getting married.
Yeah,
I think that's something that Disney should also work on, because you know
I
what,
think
I
it
miss
definitely
the
is
Disney
working
film.
on it. I mean, we do see them getting to know each other, getting to trust each other. In all the other films, there isn't that. Maybe Beauty and the Beast, but then that's a kind of bestiality thing going on. But we're gonna go with the love bit.
No.
hold on. What about Aladdin? What about Aladdin? Aladdin saw Jasmine in the streets, and he was quite dreaming of her. And then Jazz really fell for Aladdin, like, because she saw his caring side, how protective he was of her, like safe. And he took her somewhere like nice, like a great view of like the kingdom. I mean, like it was all, yes, it was quickly, but it felt so special because they actually get to know each other. It was two people who were so right for each other because they were in the right situations. They were both felt trapped. They both want to be free. They want to have a good life, and they just fit. And it just felt like they knew each other for so long, and that's what falling in love is kind of feels like. It feels like you know that person for so long. It doesn't matter, even though it's for a day. It just felt like you had that special connection, and I think that's a good portrayal of love at first sight.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like they're kind of like the more recent ones, if you know what I mean. They've been developed. They're understanding that it's not just rushing in, and it's not just, oh, I've met this man, we've done this, and now we're married. Like that, you can see the connection that's there, and you can see the development over time, why they get to trust each other and all of that. And that's more realistic. And you can kind of, it just works a lot better than older ones do.
Okay. Then for like kind of old classic one, what about in 101 Dalmatians? Like the people, I forgot their names. Danita
And Roger.
Roger. Yeah. Like they didn't exactly fall in love at first sight, but like they had an accident, they fell in the pond, they tried to help each other out, and then they started laughing, and then it was sort of, that was kind of like a love at first sight. It was just clicked. They just got along. It just something happened between them. Don't know what, but it was like a little spark. I think it just happens like on a different basis. Just depends what happens to like two people. Don't know how to explain. Again, it's hard to explain, but I think love at first sight just like tells people like how great it is being like involved with someone like romantically, or like just like in a very like more in a friendship level. Like for them to like they got married. I'm not sure how long, probably the next day or something, but they definitely, but they, you just see like they had that connection, and the dogs as well. I mean, I get that dogs and humans are very different, but still, I mean, it's all about telling people like once you get that special connection, you just gotta hold on to it.
I do like that idea. I just feel like they need to show that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, even though you might feel like you have this connection with someone, even if you have like the best connection with someone, there are still sometimes going to be little tiffs and little arguments and little obstacles that you need to go over. I feel like these do just kind of need to be shown, and it should be like, even if you do have this connection with someone, over time it can grow apart as well. It doesn't always have to lead to marriage like it always does. It can fizzle out, or you have to go separate ways, and it's going to be like, okay, you know.
I think this is something Disney should work on in future films. So yeah, I mean, just to sum up my point of view, it's basically, I don't have a problem with love at first sight. It's the way that it's portrayed afterwards, with the rushing into getting married or something else. That is the issue. We need to see a developed relationship and the struggles, because no relationship is just, straightforward, very happy all the time. But it's a bit hard because it's Disney. Because Disney is supposed to be really happy and upbeat and very magical, like Ali said. So, but yeah, I personally don't think love at first sight is an issue.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think they do need to like make it develop more, make sure there's something in their relationship that is growing, but definitely show like the magic between them, like something great, like that sparkle between them is blooming. I think definitely keep that.
Yeah,
But
why they
Love at
clicked,
First Sight.
why they actually feel something
Yeah.
for each other.
But Love at First Sight, I think just show. I just think it's like a romantic cliche we all kind of got used to and kind of love, to be honest.
I mean, we're all Disney lovers here. We can't lie. We don't not love it. We watch the films religiously. I don't have the problem of the idea. I feel like it's not phrased correctly, if you know what I mean. I feel like maybe it's not love at first. I feel like love's something that needs to be achieved and grown over time. But having a connection with someone on the first meeting or when you first see them is definitely going to be something that's there, because obviously it happens in real life. There is going to be people that you just completely connect with immediately. But I feel like we do need to see that development into love and show the complexity of it, and it's not just all sunshine and rainbows. But I do love Disney, I can't lie that. But it just has a little bit to work on.
I literally agree with Ellie, like literally same thing. I think the idea of love at first sight, I feel like the phrase itself is just it has like a different meaning to what I'm thinking. I think when you first see someone, you might be attracted to them, but then it has to be like, you got to get to like know them, you got to see where it goes. It could be platonic, it could be something else. So it needs to be like sort of developed. And yeah. Right, so to summarize, I think we all kind of agree that it has to have like some sort of pace with like the relationship, really, instead of like just straight away rush into things. So I hope you guys had liked our debate. Make sure you check out other ones like Marvel, Disney, other ones as well that just like TV shows and other stuff. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and see you guys for more. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.